Okay, we're going to get this kicked off. Well, hello, weirdos. Happy Monday. Really is a happy Monday at my end. We've got Crypto Jack on stage from the off today. Well, hello, Crypto Jack. How are we doing?
I'm very good. Very excited.
You are sounding lovely and crisp on your end. The Wi Fi in Scotland is treating you nicely by the sounds of it.
It is. It is. The weather not so nice, but hey.
And something crossed my mind as you were on your travels this morning, Jack. You've come from Norway, and I hope that's not overly doxing your real life persona. And you have, in confidence, shared to us before that the price of your beloved Fanta is ridiculously expensive in Norway. So, my question to you before we kick things off today is: are you buying double the Fanta now you're back in the UK, or are you just pocketing the difference?
I'm trying to go cold turkey. I'm trying to kick the habit because it's too expensive to maintain the habit in Norway.
Yeah, that's a sign of a man who's been through Rat Milk Anonymous and has learnt some life lessons from the experience of being rehabilitated by the state. So I am going to drop
Yeah, it's
a
100% effectiveness that program.
yeah, and I'm a proud recovering addict as well. So I'm an advocate for what the state can produce in Rat Milk Anonymous. Right, I'm going to kick things off with a quick milk contest for 120 people, and it's going to drop into Rumble Royale for the next 2 minutes. So you know what I like to do here. We like to just give people who turn up on time a little reward for saying thank you. We've got a great big show ahead of us today. We're going to get into your questions. We're going to set the table with what's going on this week and what we've just been doing. And then we'll throw it out to the community. Come up on stage, come and talk to us, come and tell us how you're feeling. Drop your questions into the AMA questions channel. Some of you have already given us some brilliant food for thought in there. Keep that coming. As we go through the show, we'll keep on trying to chip away at the best ones in there as well. And look, we try and go for an hour. Sometimes it's too much fun and we keep on rolling on. But we're here for you. If there's more to go at, we'll just keep on going. And that's our promise to you. We're here to answer your questions. So if you have questions, come up and see us. Come and drop us a message. But I think we've got some information for you, which hopefully knocks off a couple of your questions today, which is very, very exciting indeed. So what is going on? Well, we have huge news today. We are finally announcing the mint date and the mint price. I know that's been a long time coming, but we are thrilled to be able to share that with you today. I'm going to tease you with just for a few more minutes as we let the final few people filter in over the next couple of minutes. And then we're going to follow up with announcements in the official announcements channel, and we're going to record the AMA and everything. So everyone will get to hear this, but you're hearing it here for the first time. I'm confident in calling this a world exclusive, Jack, unless you told the rest of Twitter before I've got here, but we are a world exclusive. So before I dive into all of that, just a quick roundup of what's been going on elsewhere. In the Weirdoverse, I've got two things I really want to get into. We've just dropped a new sneak peek of the cloning event. So go and have a look at the announcements channel and check out the pterodactyls. So that's a state faction, a sub-faction of the state. Go and check it out. Let us know what you think of the pterodactyls. We've got more sneak peeks coming this week. We are fighting all our instincts to not just share every single generative output with you because we're so pumped every time we get to a place where we're happy with what we're looking at. And honestly, we could be sharing so much more than we are, but we're trying to give you just enough to get you through to the launch. But have a look at what we've done. There's going to be more coming soon, so just keep on telling us how it's going from your side. We're excited. Slightly more sober note, one that you might want to pick up on as we go through this, Jack, but security. Once again, over the last few days, we've seen a spike in fake accounts accessing the server and an increase in the number of scammers trying to DM you with fake links to our live mint. It's not live, but that's what it will tell you in your DM. So I know people are coming in new all the time. Some of you will have heard this every week, and it's a shame that we have to keep going back to the same point. But just to reiterate, all of these accounts are completely false. We will never DM you, okay? We will never share important information about the project in DMs, ever. You should never DM us. In fact, you should turn your DMs off. You don't need your DMs in this project. We don't want to use them with you. We're not going to communicate anything with you that is relevant to the project outside of these AMAs or outside of the announcements channel and our official links channel. Those are the places that you can trust information. Forget anywhere else, treat anything else suspiciously, and do not click on links unless it comes from us directly from announcements or from official links. Okay? It's a shame that we've got to keep coming back to that, Jack, but I know that you've been very busy with keeping us safe and secure over the last few days, so I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add to that before we get into the juicy stuff.
Yeah, I think there is something quite important here, because if I was a collector or a community member, I'd be saying, why are you guys doing a better job to protect us? And without giving way too much about what we are doing, because we don't want to tip off the attackers, just to give you an understanding. So we've got like several automated tools which are scanning the users within the server and looking for kind of suspicious behaviors. We've also, and if it finds them, it will auto-ban them. We've also got tools that auto-ban and join based on some names that we have discovered to be kind of used by those attackers to kind of impersonate Windows accounts. I'm regularly going through and doing manual checks to find the individuals who are using these kind of masquerading accounts. So they're masquerading as the Weirdos accounts, trying to pretend that we're minting. What they're doing is they're coming in potentially as not bots, but humans, and then they're setting up the account, so they're programmatically cycling through the names. So one moment you'll see an account that it has the Weirdos logo and it will say sales assistant or a name like that. The next minute it's being programmatically changed every 10 to 15 seconds to then look like in a normal account like Williams or something like that. So it's kind of like an ongoing game of cat and mouse with those guys. As Nick said, the safest thing to do, protect you against 99% of scams, is to keep your DM shut. Know that we won't DM you. And that is all really, but hopefully some context there.
Yeah, and if you see examples, keep them coming to us as well. You know, we want to be on top of anything that you see as well. There's a good chance we've already seen it, but we can never be too sure. So if you're being approached by these things, let us know. And please, please, please don't click them. And ideally, you won't receive them in the first place because your DMs will already be closed and you're already not accepting requests from people within your mutual servers and all that good stuff as well that we've talked about in our announcements around keeping you secure and safe. So really want to hammer this home because the next few days are going to start to see the hype cycle build again as we start to announce what's coming next. So I can only imagine we'll see more and more examples of this type. So please, please, please stick to the official announcements channel, official links, and this AMA, and you will not go wrong, okay? So that is the boring stuff out of the way. On to the mint. So it's very, 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 very exciting for me to be able to announce this. And thank you very much, Crypto Jack, for giving me the honours. But it's been long in the making, months and months for some of us, weeks and weeks for some of you, minutes for some others. But we are all finally in the same place where we can finally announce where we are up to with everything. So here goes. Deep breath. Drum roll, please. We will have pre-sale. So cream listed people, a pre-sale date of Tuesday the 19th of April. Tuesday the 19th of April will be our cream listed pre-salers. And that will run for that day. We will announce all the specific timings on that day and the duration of the window for your claim of your cream list and your mint on the day, prior to the day, and we'll announce the duration and the timings closer to the day. On Wednesday the 20th of April, any unsold NFTs from the pre-sale will go to a public sale. So you can do both. If you're on the cream list, you can mint in the pre-sale on Tuesday the 19th, and anything that makes its way through to public, you can mint again in public. Okay. the mint price is going to be 0.09272 Ether. 0.09272 ETH. Okay, so that's where we are with the mint price. The Ape price, the price in ApeCoin, as we've said before, is going to be announced on the day of pre-sale. So on Tuesday, the 19th of April, we'll announce that price in ApeCoin. If you want the flexibility of being able to pay in a different currency, that's going to be our pledge to you. It will be pegged to the equivalent price in Ether, so you won't have a arb advantage of paying in one over the other. It will cost you the same. But it's so volatile that we don't want to start seeing those two prices diverge between now and the 19th. So that's why we're doing it that way. There's going to be another couple of questions around that as well. So obviously we've now told you it's the 19th for pre-sale. And previously in other AMAs and in the lodge, both CryptoJack and myself have been very vocal about giving you 10 days notice for the pre-sale. But we're actually giving you a bit more than that. We're giving you 15 days. So why are we giving you 15 days notice and not 10, as we've previously said? Well, firstly, we said at least 10, but I can understand if people think that we were going to commit to 10 exactly. Therefore, why is it not the 14th of April? And why is it the 19th of April? Well, it's very simple from my perspective. It's linked to our previous conversation around security of the community and the rise in scammers. So we've been having conversations privately, and we felt that not having a target date out in the open was giving scammers the benefit of our ambiguity. And that has been able to confuse server members more easily when approached with scam DMs. So we've had our date in our mind for a while now around the 19th. And rather than wait till the end of the week, which would give you 10 days, we wanted to head off more scams and keep you safe for longer. So that's why we're giving you 15 days, more time to prepare, more time to decide how many cream list spots you want now that you know the price, more time to set your finances in order to get your ETH all stacked and ready to go for the 19th as well. So hopefully it's a benefit to you. It's not that we've pushed it back 5 days, it's just that we've brought the announcement forward 5 days from that security perspective. And what's happened over the weekend has kind of informed that decision. So rather than hold off till next Friday, Saturday, here we are today, giving you more heads up and hopefully shutting down some of those dodgy scammers that have been benefiting from our inability to be able to tell you all of this. So that's part of it. But I suppose one of the other questions that we've probably wanted to head off as we've been thinking through our dates is why we've settled on the 19th when our previous comms have referenced early April. So by anyone's definition, of course, the 19th is not early April, it's the middle of April. So people want to know why we're launching later than we had previously indicated. The answer for this, for me, is very simple. The real key to this is that we've just wanted to give ourselves more time to finish the art and review the generative outputs properly and thoroughly rather than anything being rushed. You know, we're confident that our project will be much, much better for it as a result. And rather than honour a date that was set on Twitter in a vague sense, we want to get this right. We feel that the extra few days of getting it right will pay off way, way, way more significantly over the long term than asking you to sit tight for another few days. So hope that makes sense. Is there anything more you want to add to the mint process as we start to get excited for it, CryptoJack?
Sorry, moving between mint and unmint. Sorry, mint and unmint, mute and unmute. I've got the mint on my mind now. No, I think we're just like super excited about the next, the next 15 days. We're going to be dropping more and more sneak peeks. Obviously, we talked a lot about this collection feeling like 14 collections within a single collection. That has meant obviously an incredible amount more work for the artist and incredible amounts of complexity for the rules and the code that need to produce these characters. So just really excited about sharing those over the coming weeks. And we're also going to be bringing Matt, the artist. Now he's kind of we're pretty much art complete on the project now. We're just kind of checking, testing, doing saving out, running multiple different types of tests. So he's going to have a bit more time. So we're really shifting towards kind of communicating some of the story around the factions to the individuals, the community members. And yeah, just really excited for them kind of like the next 15 days.
We've got Shadle Jay, one of our mods, up on the stage as well. I'm not sure if you came up to say hi or if there's anything on your mind, but hello, Shadle. How you doing?
Hey, Cheetah and Jack and everyone. Yeah, I do have one question, but not sure if I want to ask now or during the question session.
We are a flexible and broad church here. The floor is yours.
Okay, yeah. First of all, the news is very exciting, like regarding the date and price. People have been like waiting for years on this information, so it's super exciting to know this. So the my question is about like the date. So you already explained like why we are delaying, and it is very reasonable. And I just want to bring this question up because it is like just for curiosity. It's not like a blame or complaint or whatever. So the question is like, do do we? So currently the market is kind of warmer compared to previous like last month or 2 months. So have we thought about rush the mint date to like this week or next week so we can kind of ride the wave, something like this? What are the thoughts? What are the team's thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I've got some thoughts on that. I'm not sure if Jack does, but I'll kick things off. So my view on the macro stuff is that we don't want to time that market. We never have and never will try and time a hot market with a drop. It's not sustainable, and we're not trying to sell into a pump or anything that will just cool off and wreck you. It's none of our interest to be timing the macro and saving a good project for a better or worse time in the future. We're agnostic to the overall market conditions. That's my first point. Look, we know it's been tough for new projects to launch lately, more generally, but I'm always going to be bullish on the basis that I am on the team. I'm Team Weirdo, but I genuinely believe that very few projects recently have had the thought, the execution, and the quality behind them as ours does. So that will speak for itself as we continue to share sneak peeks in the announcements channel and everything that we're doing in our plans up to full launch. So I think we'll be able to signal to the market that we're better than that and that we've been doing things at a higher level for a longer time. And I think this project will succeed or fail on its merits and not whether the macro trends are that NFTs are cooling or new projects are suffering or whatever, the next blue chip pump it dictates on the rest of the market. It's not in our control, firstly, and it's not wise to try and predict it. So no amount of bringing dates forwards or pushing them back is going to help you with the confidence levels in a project, particularly with forces outside of your control. I don't think there's much more I want to add to that. Is there anything from your side, Jack? Jack
Yeah,
is
you're
mute.
going in and out of minting. Yeah, that's minting. Got me tired, very tired. I think it's very difficult. It's very difficult to rush these things. It's not necessarily an option right now to rush and try and get things done in 2 weeks. Just to come back to it, to uh, execute what we're trying to execute. We've got members of the team who worked on multiple other projects and have seen what it takes to deliver kind of very generative art. You can do it in 4 weeks end to end. That's not what we're doing here. And we can't just kind of speed up the next 2 weeks. What we need to do is, do an incredible amount of testing. We've got the variety in this collection just means it's so much more complex than the typical collection. So we can't just kind of like speed things up. There's literally most of the core team don't really sleep very much anyway, so there's literally very little that we can do to kind of bring that date in. So as Cheadle mentioned, this is about clearly communicating to everybody in the community about what the price is going to be, give them an opportunity to work out whether they want to purchase at that price. We're doing a lot of analysis behind the scenes in terms of the demand for the collection, the creamness that we're selling each time we open the store. So we think that's kind of we know that we're confident that we'll be complete by the 19th. We know that we probably will be complete a little bit before then. We've avoided the Easter weekend for lots of very sensible reasons, I think. And yeah, we're just very excited now about the kind of the run-in. And as we mentioned, we've got these reveals. We've got a number of kind of events with some pretty interesting public figures. We've got AMAs with some really exciting other projects. So 2 weeks is a nice time for us to run in to what we hope will be a generative mint that produces art, but the variety and quality of which hasn't been seen in this space so far. So we're very excited.
Does that answer everything, Shadle?
Yes, really appreciate it. That is very detailed answer. Yeah,
Cool. Pleasure. We've got a couple of people that want to come up and speak. I'll tell you what I'll do. We'll do it now so that you're not waiting. I've got a couple more announcements for the rest of the week, but I can drop that in towards the end. So Gothchild, you were first, so you have the honour of jumping up first.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. First off, what's up, stage?
Well,
I have a three-headed question. First, leading close to the big day, will we have an inflation in milk, or we're going to calm down on that? Second, will we see an increase in opportunities to gain more milk, or we're going to slow down leading into the big day?
Cool. So twofold question then. So will we have an inflation in milk closer to the mint? And was that from the perspective of how much a creamless spot is going to cost you in the farm shop, or was it something else you were thinking about?
Yes, sir. Precisely.
Right. Cool. And then will there be an increase or a decrease in opportunities to earn milk in the lead into the mint?
Yes, sir. You got it.
Cool. Okay. I think I can answer that. So will there be an inflation in milk closer to mint? I think that's close to inevitable at this point. So we're not going to confirm that number, but we all know that there's a lot of milk out there in a lot of accounts, and we want to be fair to the people who have been here and enjoyed themselves for a very long time. And it is fair that the price of that skews to the people who have had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with us and made the most of their experience in the Weirdoverse. So there is going to be a slight leaning towards rewarding some people over others, of course. I think that's probably, if you take a step back, what will be considered fair, but there will always be opportunities to earn creamless spots in other ways, all the way up to the mint. We'll set a cut-off as well once we've allocated all 9,272 creamless spots. So we've seen other questions as well. This is a separate point, but it's worth just following down this avenue for a moment. To reiterate, we're not over-allocating creamless spots. So we're not going to issue 13,000 and gas war you in the pre-sale. It's going to be 9,272 max creamless spots. So everyone has a chance to mint at their leisure, but within a window. So it's not at your leisure completely, but it is very much not a gas war within each other within the window. So you will have your time, but once the time's gone, it does go to public. So that's worth making really clear at this point. So there will be chances to earn via games, as there have been every week. We'll keep a number back through community events, and they've been a great way to hang out with each other as well, and ramp up the excitement levels. So that will continue to be an option. And will the milk flow reduce? I don't think so. I don't think so because there's a couple of questions that I'm probably leaning into from the AMA channel as well, which is what we're going to do with all this surplus rat milk. And we get this question every week. I know you're not quite asking that right now, Gothchild, but people are always asking what are we going to do with the extra milk that we don't use for creamless spots. And the simple answer we keep on returning back to the community with is rat milk will continue to have utility in the Weirdoverse post mint. Now, we're not giving you exact examples of how that gets converted and into what, outputs and efforts that we're doing in terms of the roadmap and building out our story, but it will play a central part, which is why we're not too concerned about having to deflate it or having to burn it or having to trade it or exchange it in ways that manufacture the reduction of rat milk out there. We're not concerned about that for good reason because we're building it into what we're doing in the future. So that's kind of all I've got to say on that one. So there will be chances to acquire milk. There will be chances to get on the cream list. It will get harder because we are starting to run out. We've got a couple of thousand left to give still. I think we've been fairly open up front with our economic announcements. So if you've been following our previous announcements, you would hear that we've been slowly ticking up the number of creamless spots that people have acquired. So we like to be transparent here and we are trying to make this as fair and open as possible. But notwithstanding that, there just comes a point when there's fewer tokens available to purchase than there are people in the community that want to buy them. And as a result, some people inevitably miss out on pre-sale and some people inevitably miss out therefore in terms of the number of mils of rat milk that they will need to have to get on that cream list. So they will get to a point where it feels tough to acquire a cream list. So there's probably a different way of saying it is the best time to get it is the next time the farm shop opens and the next community game we play. And each time after that, it just gets a little bit harder as we start running out of stock.
Fair enough, fair enough. I understand and I appreciate it greatly, fellas.
That's cool. Okay. Ave of the farm fame. The mysterious orange orb in the sky. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, how's it going?
It's great, it's great. I want to ask a few questions.
Yeah.
The first one is like I think in the NFT space the art isn't the only thing that matters, and I feel like you have the knowledge to implement things in the space. Like I think you see in the future, right? And I want to ask, what's how are you going to provide value to NFT space with your collection? Like, do you have some goals in the future to maintain the interest of the about this collection? And do you have something in mind to provide value to the general NFT space?
Very good question. Jack, do you want to kick things off there?
Yeah, definitely. Totally agree with you. I think what we're trying to deliver here is a collection that delivers something totally unique. So it's very easy for us to focus on the art because we know that in the weeks after the mint, that I'm producing this collection of 14 collections where everything feels individual and as if each character could have its own, life story. Is going to be super important. But this project has always the same kind of fundamentals that we are about delivering and executing for the community rather than kind of coming up with these elaborate promises, which feel a bit like roadmap bingo, where you hear, there's going to be a DAO, there's going to be a P2E game, there's going to be a Hollywood movie. We're not. We deliberately have stayed away from over promising, and very much focused on delivering. The fact that the team's demonstrated the built a one-of-one collection on a custom contract with optimized gas, has delivered silly little fun games for kind of your collector moments of delight. We've been working on this for 6 months, and that's not just the art. There's been a whole lot of other planning about how we're going to bring this Weirdiverse to life. And what we've been very open about communicating is that, our intent is to bring the kind of the Weirdos brand to life through a couple of different mediums which we're kind of keeping quite close to our chest. But the fundamental one, and one that we'll be sharing more details of over the coming weeks, is that we're going to be putting in place the commercial and IP structures to really enable every single person in the community who owns a clone weirdo to elevate to use that weirdo exactly as they want, and to kind of elevate their overall brand. I guess the only thing that I kind of, like I said, we're very much trying to keep things close to our chest and deliver moments of surprise and delight for the collectors in the future, rather than to signal or signpost. And we realise that takes a certain amount of trust, but we think that that's kind of what we've been spending the time building with the community over the last 6 months. I guess without saying too much, I guess I would say that if you look at the Genesis collection, kind of there is this deliberate, rich storyline, this narrative that already exists there, and that will be part of what is used to kind of elaborate and bring forth the Weirdiverse into real life.
I love the way you're building this community and the steps you're taking to make it bigger and grow it, because it's different from other projects, and like you have a clear idea of what branding is and how to build something out of nothing. But I wanted to know about something, uh, what you can say obviously about a general goal in the future. You talk about the Weirdoverse a lot of time. I hear about the Weirdoverse a lot of times. And maybe do you have an idea to create something I don't know, games, metaverse stuff, or something concrete about this Weirdoverse, or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, I'd love to spill the beans on all of this stuff. It's the hardest thing ever to bite your tongue and not to give you what we kind of. I'm a BAYC holder, and as Nick will tell you, I'm probably like a huge fanboy of Yuga Labs.
Are you?
They haven't signposted. They haven't signposted everything that they were going to do. You woke up one morning and you trusted in the team, and then you woke up one morning and there's just something new, something incredibly exciting, and you could see the next stage of this world open up for you. And that's what we're trying to do here. I think Azuki did a fantastic job last week with the airdrops of the dirt. They're giving these surprise moments of delight, which expectations aren't hugely set in advance. You just know that there's something, that they're going to continue to deliver. What I would say is that hopefully you can see the richness and depth and of this brand, of this story, of these characters. You know that this thing, or Project W, exists in the future. You know that the artist has a background in animation, and there are all of these factors there that kind of are signaling towards the direction that we may take with the project. And yes, it would be, these mediums with which we can build out the future story of the Weirdos, the ones that you see now, the ones that may exist in the future. It could take the form of metaverse, it could take the form of a game, it could take the form of an animated series. Those things are all things that are going to become more apparent beyond the mint. And we're committed to continue to deliver value, and not make you wait ages for it either. There's going to be surprises and delight soon after the mint as we can deliver them.
And the very, very quick summary of Jack's point there is that we're not going to let all this story that's already laid down go to waste. So there's as Jack said, a huge amount of richness in the bios and the lore that sits around all the characters in the Weirdoverse. It's not for no reason that they're there. There's a good reason why we've started to explore those characters and what they're about and what they're trying to come together to do. So the story does not end there, far from it, and we've got some very exciting things lined up for them.
Thank you. That was exactly what I wanted to hear. Like that's you have a great vision about that. I think you're doing it very well. And thank you very much. That was all what I was asking, and I think you're doing a great work.
Thank you, and we love your support. Thank you for everything that you continue to do in the community. I see your name pop up everywhere, so thanks for being so active and so much fun.
You're not only building something that's great, you're also building something that's enjoyable, like being part of the community, playing the stupid games, there's in the weird games that are around, and everything is very enjoyable. Like good people, good stuff, the story, the lore is amazing. Yeah, I think there's value behind this, or I hope.
You might decide that the weird games are also stupid when you hear my announcements later anyway, so you might have been right, so that's fine.
I think it's okay that they're stupid and they're silly.
Yeah, it's the great things that's one of the great things. Like, you're creating something great, I think, yeah.
That's exciting to hear. We love that. Thank you
for the work you're doing to build this community. And yeah, maybe the mint price is a bit high. I'm not very familiar with NFTs world. I haven't made any big purchases, but I think in a large vision, it has potential. I'm trying to understand this world, and I think your community is doing great stuff.
Well, thank you very much. And yeah, we will take the feedback on the chin around mint prices. We've got some fairly strong rationale for how we feel about where that's positioned and what value we're going to deliver with that mint price when it comes to us and how we're going to use it in the future. But we'll do that as we start to move through the questions. Thank you very much, Arbe. There was somebody with their hand up who has just sat back down. Maybe your hand was up to say wello rather than to ask us a question. But if it was a question, you're very welcome to put your hand back up. I am going to move to the AMA questions channel if we don't have hands up in the audience. We do, though, because the crazy NFT 96 is in the house.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey.
How's it going?
Good, thank you. Good crazy PFP as well. Very fitting of the name.
Yeah, if you know Landon Norris, he's the person on my profile picture, and he's the Formula One driver, and it has a background. So this is a young driver, and he likes to drink milk, literally, like he loves milk. So I just put it on there, and yeah.
We love Nando. We love Lando Norris here. Lando is down the road from us in McLaren in Surrey in the UK. So again, Docs alert. I'm in Surrey in the UK. Crypto Jack's from Surrey in the UK. So our local team's McLaren. Big up Lando and Daniel Ricciardo. Wish their car was a bit quicker this year, but yeah, if you want to spend the next hour talking about F1 and piss off the other 175 people here, I'm all in. So however you want to do it, it's fine by me.
I guess one person just left. I saw that.
Yeah. You'll get rid of people quick, but hey, it's my show. I'll do what I want.
Yeah, for sure. So my question was like, when are you thinking about collecting the wallets? Like, what would be the
The wallets, sorry.
Yeah, the wallet collection. Or what would be the time frame? So I'm new to the NFT, so I don't know pretty much about when would be
Cool, that's fine. So
the wallet collection to start.
Cool, that's all right. The simple answer is we already have the wallets in the main. So when people join,
I completely forgot about that, man.
that's okay. But it's a
It completely slipped out of my mind. Like, yeah.
it's a helpful reminder for us to remind people who are just joining us that if you use the command /milk me in the bot commands channel, you will get the process of connecting your Ethereum wallet, your Discord ID to the website. And the benefit of doing that is it unlocks all the features of the Weirdoverse. You give us your wallet, you claim 2 mils of rat milk in the process. We can start to then get you onboarded with choosing a faction, Weirdos versus the state. Doing that unlocks the milk the rat game and so on. So it's the first door into the portal of the Weirdoverse by using milk me, the command milk me in bot commands /milk me, and that gets your journey underway. So yes, we actually do have people's wallets. One thing we're really happy about is we don't have to lose people from the wallet collection stage of a pre-mint process like some projects do. So feeling very bullish about having people ready to go on the day.
One more thing. So I pretty much had my wallet hacked, and that was an unfortunate incident. But is there something like I can do to change my wallet address?
Yeah, if you raise a ticket, a support ticket, give us your old address and the new address that you want to switch to. A person in our team will update your details. Okay, so just raise a ticket so that you are private and
Oh,
confidential, and we will move you through the process.
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thanks for
Yeah,
jumping
I
up.
guess that's about it. And if we want to piss off some people from Formula One, so
Yeah, yeah.
pretty
Let's
much done.
let's keep talking about the F1 season. I'm here for it all year. So yeah, let's do it. Anyway, thanks very much for that, Crazy.
Yeah, see ya. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Right, so we're going on to AMA questions. We've got a few in there today, and then I'll just drop some announcements at the end. So, what have we got? Jimbo City says, will Discord rug the AMA today? Well, it better not, because we got rugged a few days ago and I was in the middle of a game. That was brutal. So, ideally, Discord can stay up longer than OpenSea and just stick it out for the next 45 minutes. That would be great. What else have we got? No Quick. Will No Quick be announced as the best mod, or at least in the top 25? Jack, is No Quick in your top 25 mods?
Definitely in the top 25.
We don't even
Maybe
have
top 20 as well.
yeah, I was gonna. We don't even have 25 mods, so yeah, if he's not making that, he is struggling. But yeah, we love you. We love you, No Quick. You are firmly in the top 25. MBD asks us, why is the AMA being led by 2 members of the state? Well, a very simple answer to that. Have you ever tried to organise anything on the Weirdos side? Imagine Weirdos being leaders. What a joke. Simple as that. The state rule, and they're organised and they can get stuff done. Don't think there's anything more to add to that. Lucifer. Oh, no, hang on. This one's good. What will the milk be used for after the mint? Says NFT Spooked. Things and stuff, utility, and we're not announcing it today, but rather than the flippant answer, we'll go back and reiterate that rat milk is going to be a central component of things we do in the Weirdoverse as we build. So we're not going to give you specific examples of utility. We're just confirming that you don't need to worry about having too much or an excess. Okay, so that's all good. Now, Lucifer, how much rat milk can be exchanged for creamy white? Well, it depends. It changes every time we open the farm shop. So we are quite soon going to open the farm shop. We actually had a conversation about when we should do that, but we felt that it was fair and reasonable to give people the mint information so that they can make a conscious decision on how many creamless spots they're going to want. Now that they know the price in Ether, they can figure out whether that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can position yourself accordingly. So from my perspective, it made more sense to get this news out and then open the farm shop so you've got your ducks in a row when it comes to the window when we open the shop. But we've not confirmed when it's going to be, but we're not far off at this point. I've just got a couple of people waiting in the wings. Creatio ex nihilo, hail the something. Can I call you Creation? You tell me what you're called. I wouldn't want to assume. Hail the state. Well, yeah, I mean, one of us.
Hail the state, man. Yeah, creatio is fine. It's creatio ex nihilo. It's Latin for basically something out of nothing. So the whole creative process.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, thanks. So you already answered one of my questions. I guess you'll go more into mint pricing later and the rationale behind that. Actually, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed that fan art contest. That was a lot of fun. Being limited to those colors also lends like a certain appeal to the way you draw your picture. Um, I did the Freud one, the Franklin Lloyd, that dude.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that was amazing. Congratulations on that. We loved it.
Yeah, thanks. My background is a mental health counselor. I thought I'd throw that
Oh, it's perfect.
one in.
It sums up your real life
Yeah,
splendidly.
so I'm looking forward. I'm hoping for more, not necessarily contest, but more from the community because I'm looking. I was looking through it, and another dude, Farb 2180, nailed a really good one. I don't know what the original photo's from, but it's that dude in like formal wear, but then in the mirror he's wearing some like he's wearing some stuff, some lingerie. You
Yeah,
know that one?
yeah, that's right. Oh, I love that one. Honestly, I had the best time going through those submissions and awarding the prizes out because the standard was off the charts. I wasn't expecting that when we did it. Sometimes you get some memes and the easiest stuff to deliver basically, but it turns out we have a lot of artists in the community and some of them are putting in some phenomenal pieces of work. So yeah, I kind of want to run it again, but I also am conscious of I've already asked people to shoot their best shot, but we do keep wanting to see all your fan art. It's blown me away, and I know Ghost Breath, our artist, was equally stunned at the tributes and responses to what he's put out in the world. So yeah, it's just cool to see that thrown back at you. After so long on this project, to see people respond in kind with their version of it. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Um, I remember he had mentioned something on Twitter about that, so I was pretty pumped about that. I was gonna say other projects I've been a part of. I'm not saying you need to do this, but in lieu of giving away like prizes or green lists, other projects have done like a fan art gallery where they've offered. I don't know how much work this takes because I'm fairly new to the NFT space, but they've offered like in a sense a Hall of Fame or fan art that they choose can be put onto like a separate collection that people can view on OpenSea. So that might be an incentive for other people to continue making them in hopes they get enshrined. Maybe good for community building too. Just a thought.
That's a lovely idea. Yeah. As ever, as you quite rightly said, there was a finite amount of resources and a number of priorities, and we will just take that on board and look at ways that makes sense, and whether we can deliver that in a respectful way and at the right time. But yeah, that sounds. I like the idea of it for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And then I guess a lot of it is still to be announced because I was curious about like in terms of lore creation, what it would look like if there was some community involvement and maybe even a contest. I don't know if y'all thought of this. Once we met ours, coming up with a story, having a contest behind them because there's already short stories behind each one of them. So that'd be kind of cool to see what the community comes up with.
I think that is a very good idea. We've one thing that we kind of have said and been very open about is that next stages of the project, key we see to this is kind of community participation, whether that's identifying favorite OGs to be kind of key characters in the universe, in the Weirdiverse, or building on a story. Austin, who is, I can see him in the audience, is one of our OGs and top of the Rat Milk League. It was really inspiring one time to see him identify some similarities between a couple of the Genesis characters and go off and develop a kind of a story, a backstory for those. So that was something that has been kind of in our minds well before then, but really reinforced by those kinds of behaviours. So yeah, and obviously the clones are going to have their own kind of little characters as well as kind of text characters, text descriptions, as well as their unique visual characters as well. So definitely we see community participation and narrative creating as very important in the next stage of the building of the Weirdverse.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, thanks a lot. Great work, guys. Appreciate everything. I'll let someone else jump on. But yeah, all hail the state.
Hail the state, indeed,
On
buddy.
the state.
Hail the state. Yeah, just to build on that as well, we've said this on previous AMAs, but I'm really inspired by community-led projects that use the IP in a way that takes it off in a different community direction. So if you think about the Elite Apes tribute over at Pixel Vault, there was a bracket contest to become part of the final Elite Apes, the 8 finalists. So you basically submitted a backstory around your ape and the lore that you wanted to build around it in Pixel Vault. Through a democratic voting process, allowed 8 of them to ultimately have front cover comics for issue 2 of Punk's comic, which was all centered around the 8 characters of the Elite Apes. So super cool thing they did. Worked with a blue chip project to deliver something that was community led, and it's just the possibilities of this space all just neatly encapsulated in one move there. Jenkins the Valet is another one that we always come back to, because it's, now that they've got Neil Strauss on the team as author, it's lended legitimacy to a community project, and it's suddenly as professional as the original project and more. So I'd love to see people take on their bios from their clone weirdos and make something with this. It would be the ultimate tribute to Ghost Breath to, create the story around your clone and its individual place in the Weirdoverse and beyond. I mean, bring it on. I can't wait to see what people do with this stuff. And that's the beauty of this. It's not going to all be led from the center. Some of this utility is going to be, yours to create for yourself. And that's the point of sharing IP with the individual token holder. That's how you get empowered to start running with stuff yourself if you're that way creative. So can't wait. Going back to the questions quickly, Amsky of the State asks me, how many calculators have I licked in my lifetime? I mean, hundreds. I'm an accountant by IRL trade, so yeah, I've licked more calculators than you've had hot dinners, son. And also, it's not really a ownership of a calculator if you haven't typed 5318008 on a calculator and turned it upside down. Am I right, Jack?
You're right. Thinking back to things. Well, I'm more of a battery licker than a calculator licker.
Ooh, yeah, tangy, yeah. Nice taste to it. David, our favourite rehabilitation success from Rat Milk Anonymous, joins us on the stage. David, how are you today?
Well, brothers, how you doing?
Wello. It's late there, isn't it? Where you're Hong Kong, is that correct?
It's like 1 a.m. It's alright, it's not too bad.
Well, it's DJ hours.
Yeah, exactly. I have a question for y'all.
Go for it.
Is this the real life? Is this a fantasy?
Or in a landslide.
No escape from reality. You've been practicing, Dave. I can tell.
Bro, ever since I was trio, I've been practicing, and man, I'm ready to step it up and make this official, bro.
Yeah. Well, now we've got the record deal.
I don't have any questions. I'm only here for the vibes, and I'm looking forward to midday.
I am grateful for the vibes. It's good to hear from you. How was your rehabilitation going?
Fantastic. Hey, does the clinic go on after the whole minting?
Oh yeah. We don't just shut the clinic. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so people are still gonna be getting kicked into the clinic?
Well, we're here for the community, so if people show signs of unhealthy behaviors and habits, then we're here to help.
It seems like people can't read what's going on in the clinic anymore. I mean, I check in on the clinic from time to time, and I don't see anyone there. Has people been just really healthy, or what?
Yeah, there's only a handful of people who have access to the full world there. So if you've got the milk addict role, then you're going to have a different experience of that channel versus other people's. So yeah, what you see is going to be different.
Nice. Keep it. I love it. I love the clinic.
Yeah, we'll be there to help people. The idea is that rat milk is a seductive substance and one which needs to be respected and used in moderation. So we'll be continuing to evangelize that message beyond the mint, 100%.
Fantastic, man. Keep up the good stuff, brothers.
Yeah, you too, man. Appreciate you. Just some guy joins us from the farm. Just some guy with the Discord logo. Sorry, Crypto Jack, did you want to say something before we...
I just had a question. Maybe you're going to answer this.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Hey, we can hear you. Sorry, carry on, Jack.
I'll come back to my question later. I just wanted to know when we were going to do another the voice, to be honest, but we'll hold that one back.
I might be doing it this weekend at this point. I've got the addiction for it. I don't think everyone else does, but I enjoy the sound of my own voice, so I might be reintroducing the voice this weekend. Just some guy, how you doing?
Good. There, I think I fixed my audio settings there. Awesome. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're great. You sound lovely and clear, by the way.
Oh, I'm in sunny California here. I think just walking the dog casually, so couldn't be any better, right?
So jealous as I look at grey leaden skies in the south of England and 7 degrees Celsius weather. So yeah, over to you to flex the IRL lifestyle.
I'll try to send some my way. I have a comment and 2 questions. First of all, obviously thank you for everything you guys have been doing so far. I've definitely been intrigued and overly participating, in everything that's been going on throughout the community and so on, which is not so typical of me. But one comment I just want to kind of say also to the people that are listening, that, when you originally dropped that mint price, I was actually also one of the people that was like, oh wow, that's on a bit high side. But after kind of putting some thought into it, I think, obviously I don't really want to go into detail about difference between your project and others in other communities and so on, but I think it's relatively fair to say that, kind of what you guys are offering and what you guys have done so far is on a totally different league, than what we've been seeing with other communities, and probably one of the reasons why other communities have lower mint price and so on. And it's kind of obvious to say that what's ahead and what's upcoming is definitely something that can validate that mint price. So I did respond, in the lounge chat and say, oh wow, that's a bit overpriced, but I just kind of wanted to go back and say, after coming to some considerable thought, that it is actually reasonable, and just something to consider. My 2 questions. The first one is, I don't know if this was mentioned or if you guys wrote about this. Are these clones based off the previous series?
Yes, in parts they're inspired by traits and features of many of the 412 Genesis characters across the first 3 series. So if you go back and look through series 1, 2, and 3, you'll see a huge diversity of men, women, people, robots, animals, sentient beings of all descriptions, and being able to distill all of those different characters influenced by pop culture, by the lore and the story of the weirdos and the state themselves is nigh on impossible. But that is the task that we're working on, is to pull as many of those qualities through from the Genesis and clone them in the cloning event. So you will see examples of factions where you think, I've seen that before in the Genesis, and it's going to be those moments of, aha, I recognize that I can't wait to drop on the community and start going through when we start minting these clone weirdos. So yeah, you will see some really familiar traits from, inspired by the OGs of the Weirdoverse for sure.
Very cool. As a small follow-up, as this is the Weirdo thing, so to speak. Does owning one of these earlier series have any impact towards moving forward? As kind of having ownership to that trait or that look, style, sort of thing.
Well, we've talked. Sorry, go on, Jack. You were about to jump in.
That was good. That's a good question. I think I've understood. So does the almost as would owning a Genesis Weirdo, for example, there are three pterodactyls, um, Truss, Sarah, and Denda. Done that from memory. I'd be very impressed. Um, so they won't have kind of any kind of ownership over any specific pterodactyl clones. They're just going to be far more likely to kind of feature in any lore or story making that kind of comes out of the core team. So we'll be very much focused on the characters, building stories around the characters that were in that Genesis collection. But the kind of, I guess it's worth repeating the ownership of the Genesis Weirdo, as long as you're holding it at the snapshot date, which we still need to announce over the next week or so, you will be entitled to a free mint per Genesis that you hold.
Okay, awesome. And then my last question is, during the minting process, if we do hold 4 creamless spots, are we able to, will we be able to mint one right away, do another 10 minutes later, or do we have to do it all in one? Obviously, I know, it'll save gas, I think, if we do all 4 together, but how will that exactly work?
Yeah, so if you wanted to mint one, come back and do that, you'd definitely be able to do that. The gas is going to be super low anyway. We've done some testing, so I think probably that shouldn't come into your consideration at that point. It'd be um, very small savings that you would make minting 4 versus minting 1 4 times, hopefully. So yeah, you'll be able to do that. I think the only subtle difference is that if you've got, say, 5 OGs and you have 5 free mints to claim, then it will just give you the option to claim between like none or 5. But obviously then you're not paying the actual token price, you're just paying the gas fees.
Gotcha. In a very weird world, sorry, this is my last one, I'm done. In a very weird world, in a case that all the 9,000 and so on clones do not get sold out, do you guys have any plans on what to do with the remaining?
It's a very good question, and one that we've been asked more and more. So yes, obviously we do think that would be a very, very weird world. I kind of not answering your question here directly, but coming back to the mint price, one of the things that we've been very determined to do from the start was to be very scientific about the demand for the project, which is why we've collected a hell of a lot of data behind the scenes around how many people are buying cream lists, how many people are interacting with the bots and playing games after they bought cream lists. We've got this metric of cream listed active milk that we're tracking. So we didn't want to be in a position where we were guessing at an appropriate price. We wanted to be in a position where we had a very clear understanding of the demand curve for this project, so that we could pick a price that we think will still, deliver. If people did want to flip, will still be very likely to deliver them significant gains, so that the gains are shared between the project and the collectors. That doesn't totally answer your question, but it's kind of so. Basically, we've been tracking the data to kind of get us to a position where we think it's very, very likely that we will mint out across the pre-sale and the public sale. We've also, one of the things that we've been very determined to do from the start was to make this a very community-based focused project, which is why the limits on the number of cream lists, the maximum limits are quite strict, and how we making sure that the kind of distribution of the project is very broad. But we have been approached by investors who were willing to asking to purchase up to 10% of the collection, just to give you an idea. So we know that there are, we haven't gone that route. We've chosen to go the route of private, making this available to private collectors. But we know that there are groups of individuals who are keen to own large numbers of the supply potentially. So I'm sure some of those will be piling into the public sale. Personally, if Mark, one of our devs who is a founder of another project, Megapons on Stacks, and myself might have also been talking about if we ever did get into the situation where some of these clones had not been brought to life, that we would personally be very tempted to come in and make sure that those did make it into the creation and did appear as these amazing characters. It would be such a shame to ever be in that situation, but I really don't genuinely think that we will be.
So it's safe to say that if that happens, we can all blame the state, and weirdos will be rewarded accordingly. I appreciate that. Also, guys, thank you so much. Continue doing what you guys are doing. It's amazing. It's innovative and.
Ooh, rug. Yeah, just the state just pulled the internet cable out of your setup there. I'm just going to move you back while we move on. Thank you so much for that. And if you do have more questions, come back up as well. We're not sitting you down. Just moving on because we've got so many questions in AMA questions. We're going to just rattle through a few of those before we go back to the request to speak. So Maximac says, "Wello, I'm from Hong Kong. So first of all, I'm very grateful to the project team for creating such an interesting community." That's just me pumping my bags, isn't it? Hang on. Let's get on to the questions. So will ApeCoin only be used at the mint? So far, yes, it will just be used at the mint. We're not going to talk about sort of Ape in its broader sense in the utility of Weirdoverse or anything like that, but it is a payment option at the mint for this point in time. Will we use ETH as the transaction currency when we arrive at OpenSea? Yeah, I think so. I don't think Ape is integrated into OpenSea purchases yet, is it?
I think it is actually.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure that you would be able to make offers with Ape as well.
Right, cool. Well, that's great news.
Yeah.
Oh, even better. Will there be one-on-ones in the cloning event? No, but there are rare ones. That's the TLDR there, isn't it?
I think yeah. So there won't be any one-on-ones, but whole ambition of this project is to get the generative art to a position where it looks like one-of-one art. So everything that we've been doing over the last, definitely 3 months has been driving towards a position where you will be able to look at one of the clones and compare it to an OG, and it will feel kind of very, very similar. Matt, the artist, says it's the greatest thing he's done artistically in his life. I had a call with him on Saturday morning after a very stressful last week, where he was all working all hours, and just to see the kind of smile on his face when, an example of this is definitely welfare. An example of the level of detail and like the passion of Ghost Breath. There's going to be a class a faction that we haven't kind of settled totally on a name yet, but they're going to be on the state side, and they're going to be the socialites. Something called similar to the socialites. But Matt was spending the weekend looking through kind of old Gucci and Ralph Lauren catalogs to find outfits that were kind of these amazing dresses and things that would be kind of typical of the rich socialites of the stateside. So it's like so much depth and effort has been put into this collection that
it will feel they will feel like these individual characters, and that's been our target for a long time.
They sound to me like a group who probably prefer their rat milk in powdered form.
Definitely. I mean, um, uh, there's gonna like you can already see on the merch that you've seen, hopefully from the sneak peeks of just the punks, the hoodies, and things like that, and the caps in the Genesis collection. There's going to be an incredible opportunity here to have the most fun ever with some of these kind of clothing brands. And here's another piece of wealth: the state socialite class will have their own special kind of brand.
Nice. Wow, this is great. I'm turning up thinking I'm delivering the welfare, and then Crypto Jack just comes in with these little nuggets. It's great. Aginator 369 says, "What kind of cars do you guys drive?" Uh, you don't drive, Jack.
My girlfriend just looked at me and pissed herself laughing.
Uber, yeah.
She finds this very amusing. Yeah, unfortunately, I've got like a borderline fear of driving, so I can't drive. In fact, such as the this isn't actually a fun story, but having driving lessons recently because I've got like a sick family member that I need to be able to um, help drive around now, and um, I was so stressed with the weirdos and all of the stuff that's going on. I basically had a full-on meltdown in my driving lesson. So I've made the decision to switch to learning on an automatic, and we'll be doing that as soon as the weirdos are out of the way. But yeah, Uber.
I'm going to keep this one real. Well, I drive a van because I've got a big family, and our holidays tend to be down at the beach in the UK somewhere, down in Cornwall in the southwest. That sort of thing. When we pack the bodyboards and a load of tents and just cram a van to the top of the roof with stuff and three children. So yeah, we need space, and so there's no flash vehicles in our household. I'm afraid we just ride a massive people carrier, and ride in style. It's comfy. It's comfy as hell. So that's my whip. That's it. What else we got? Uber Purple. Are you? This is one of your favourite questions, Jack. I know you like to step in for these ones. How confident are you in your contract? Can Let's start with that. How confident are you in the minting contract?
I mean, that's lots of levels to that question.
Yeah. You'd hope the answer is
Like
very, right. Let's start with that.
yeah, I guess like everything that we've done at the start of this project is to build like a superstar team. I've said before in these things that run a alpha server, research server, so that's why I'm kind of very keen on these questions about min price and the details of these collections. The thing that we index on in that alpha server is teams. Like more than any other aspect of a project, the ones that end up delivering the most value for the community aren't the ones that have DAOs on the roadmap, aren't the ones that have um, necessarily the best art. It's the ones that manage to pull together the most, the strongest teams. So the tech team that we've brought in are quite frankly incredible. Um, they run their own project on Stacks, which is obviously a different chain, but are launching a project on Ethereum. They've worked now with the Creeps, Loveless City, with us. We've already launched our generative on a custom smart contract that was a modification of the ERC721A contract that Azuki um, kind of started to push. Well, didn't actually push forward, but certainly marketed very well and made it sound like they pushed it forward. So, and the reason I said this, I didn't just answer very straight away, is because there's multiple aspects of the contract. There's kind of
how efficient it is, and what that's going to look like in terms of gas. There's the security aspects. For us, things are a little bit different because we I won't go into the details of this, but we've obviously going to have automatic integration of the cream list using some capabilities, some kind of mathematical capabilities, which makes it very easy for us to update the cream list up to the last minute. And also there's the aspect of kind of how confident are we that the contract won't get botted when we move to the public sale. And again, we're doing some special things there, which we believe will ensure that it's very difficult for bots to, buy large numbers of our tokens and then destabilize the project after mint. So very, very confident, both from security, from a security perspective, from a gas perspective. Very confident, and we'll be getting the contract audited as well.
Nice one. Then Uber goes on to ask, can we be reassured that cream lists won't be over allocated? Yes, I can reassure you it will not be over allocated. It will go to 9,272 and no more. So for example, they go on to ask, if we are asleep when the mint starts, can we be sure we will get our mints once we wake up? Definitely yes. It will be open long enough for you to mint at your whichever time zone you're in around the world. Okay, that's our pledge. Unless you plan on sleeping for 20.
Sleeping when the mint starts. That's what the hell.
Yeah, I didn't realise people slept in Web3, but there you are. Weird. No, I sort of feel quite strongly about that point. I know Jack and I joke about this stuff because we're degens in Web3, and I certainly don't get as much sleep as I should. But it's important to, and we are thinking about people's mental health all the time. We've had conversations around it with some professional support actually as a trial in the OGs group, and we're doing some work to potentially roll that out to a full audience as well. So we start to think about how we design things so that we eliminate that FOMO that is unnecessary, because we've got you're on the cream list, we want you to have a chance to mint it. To a point, at your leisure, we've got a window, but we're not going to create a gas wall within the pre-sale. We're not going to create a oversupply so that you have to mint within the first couple of hours, otherwise you miss out. Having said that, the window will be finite, and if you don't use it, we'll move to public, and you might miss out altogether when the public get their hands on the opportunity to buy. So hope that answers the question, because we're really clear on that. We want to be very transparent. We're not trying to create a gas FOMO thing within the pre-sale process. Yin asks us, what does the Rat Milk League stand for? Does the one with the highest milk get extra cream lists or airdrops or something? No, it's a prestige point. We're not talking about additional utility for Austin. He's got plenty of utility already. There's a leaderboard for a variety of reasons. People like to achieve. People like to signify their enjoyment of the project by climbing the table. But we're not saying to anybody that being in the top 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 gives you a special prize. No, not at all. And if we decide to go down that route, there'll be plenty of opportunity to know that in advance. We won't just drop it on you as a last minute thing. We would give you a fair opportunity to achieve if that's the way that we decided we wanted to take things in the future. Okay, that's probably my take on that. Shada, I didn't realise you were on the stage. Sorry, I'm in my own world taking questions from the channels, and here you are. Did you have anything you wanted to throw out there?
Oh, no.
Oh, you're just showing off your beautiful PFP, and that's good with me.
Yes, exactly.
It's a good flex. Aginator again asks us our favourite foods this time. Favourite foods. I love curry. I love Indian food. I love Thai food as well, but Indian's my number one by some distance, actually.
I had a ramen for lunch. Duck ramen. It's very nice. Have it. All-time favourite, maybe lasagna.
Great shout. Kind of put that in the comfort food bucket with, if you can have it with more carbohydrates, like, say, chips and garlic bread. Then
Yeah.
then you're really into comfort territory. That is a particularly Western thing to say. If anyone is listening and don't know what lasagna is, just Google that chips and garlic bread, and yeah, you'll put on about 2 kilos just looking at the pictures. What have we got now? Oh, we've got a couple of people in the crowd that want to come back. Arve, I'm going to go to you one more time just quickly because we've got another couple of people that want to speak. But hi again. You're on mute, buddy.
Oh, sorry.
Where,
Yeah.
where,
Yeah.
where are you from, by the way? If it's if you're prepared to say, I'm trying to.
I'm from Italy.
Yeah.
Why? Why are you asking?
Oh, it's just a very nice accent. I'm very jealous of those. What's the right word? Not flowery is not the right word. They're just beautiful mid-European accents, and I've got a boring English one, so I'm disappointed.
Sorry for like it's hard to find all the words because it's not my native language. So yeah.
You are far better in English than I am in Italian, if that helps. So we've got Decadub in our mod team, who's also Italian, so he could be our bridge if you need him. But look, you're great. Over to you.
Okay, so I know the Weirdos are on Ethereum. Do you think Ethereum is going to be the main blockchain for NFTs project like this in the future, or or do you think like other blockchains are going to do the job better? And do you think you could migrate like your project over other blockchains, or do you love the way Ethereum works and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of points there, and then maybe Jack might go from a more technical perspective. I'm more of a collector than a technical person. That's why I'm community manager and not a product person as well. But my take on this is I think the future is more chain agnostic than just Ethereum. Right now, Ethereum is by far the commercially most successful chain, as we all know. About 90% of all time secondary revenue sales are delivered through Ethereum, which includes nearly $4.5-5 billion worth of sales on Axie's chain as well, and about $1 billion on Flow from the sporting NFTs like Top Shot. So when you zoom out, there's very little else out there. Matic, Polygon doesn't do a huge amount of volume, and then Solana and other chains are proportionally way down on what we've got here. So there's a commercial decision to take in terms of being positioned on Ethereum. From a security perspective, it's very comforting to be on Ethereum for a variety of reasons, and the number of steps being taken to reduce the transaction costs on Ethereum are starting to open up a potential for us to maintain a life on Ethereum. But I think as we look at our dev team, we've got Megapont on Stacks, which has done some wonderful things, and they're moving across to Ethereum as well. Their vision for their Megapont world is that the future is chain agnostic as well. If we go in certain directions, it might make sense to bridge across to other chains and provide more flexibility depending on the product that we want to put into the Weirdoverse. So I'd never say we're going to be an ETH only project, that's for sure. But I'm not also here to say, we're definitely moving to a Polygon game, in Q2 next year. Nothing like that either. So I'm very open-minded when it comes to chain exploration, but the figures do speak for themselves at the moment.
Yeah, and for now you're finding your journey on Ethereum, like it works. Does it work on Ethereum? Like it's fine, or do you feel like there's something that miss and you want more, and you think you can find more on other blockchains soon?
I thought firstly Tito's answer was very, very good, more comprehensive than I would have been able to provide. But I think for us, Ethereum ticks all the boxes, and I think one of the most important things is that that's where the largest collector base is. So if you want to bring a project like the Weirdos to life and share it with as many people as possible, and help them enjoy the community and the fun and be a part of the collection, then I think Ethereum is the best. I'm quite aware at the moment, and it might be a bit controversial, but hopefully more more chains do emerge over the coming years. And as Nick said, being in a chain agnostic position is probably the most comfortable position over the long term. And more chains delivering kind of highly competitive features, solutions can only be good for the space. I think maybe longer than that, but September last year, when gas prices were so high, a combination of infrastructure issues and just people not really understanding how to optimize contracts to the extent that they have now. I think there was a real existential threat to Ethereum, and Solana and Cardano were looking like good potential alternatives, but I think Ethereum's kind of wrestled it back over the last 6 months a little bit. So I'm pretty bullish on the short to medium term prospects of Ethereum, and hopeful over the medium to long term that we see much more new chains emerge with kind of new features and advantages.
So your advice on like starting new projects like NFTs project is always to stick to Ethereum because I have the feeling like Ethereum is like more OG. I don't know how to say. Like
I think it
I don't know.
depends. I think it depends, Abe. I think it you need to decide what kind of project you have and what the collector base is going to be for that project. Are your audience is your target audience already in Web3? Are you trying to onboard people from the real world who have no crypto experience? You've got to think about those things when you're assessing the right chain for you, because conversations like on ramps and off ramps. So on ramps being how you get that money through an exchange and into a decentralized or centralized wallet, and how difficult that is a massive consideration. If I'm say, let's say in my previous career, I was in working in football. Financial management, not I wasn't a football manager, a football financial director or a rugby financial director, where the majority of supporters are not into crypto and Web3. They're in their 50s. They're white males who are technologically behind the average person in Web3. If that's my audience and I'm trying to push a project into them, how easily can I onboard them? And that would be a conversation for that group. It might be that the kind of thing that you want to drop is already suited to the 90% of people who transact in ETH layer 1. If it's a play to earn, if it's got lots and lots of tokens that need to be issued and don't need to have a value of a significant price, then maybe it's a layer 2 solution like a Polygon game, where you look at the way Cool Pets is about to deliver its game as a sub project of Cool Cats. They have been exploring on layer 2 as a way of delivering a slightly gas reduced solution to a problem that they've effectively created by going down the gaming route. So there's going to be different ways of approaching it depending on the kind of project you want to deliver. So I would say, from a art collectibles perspective, layer 1 security offers quite a lot of guarantees around provenance for, so like an art blocks curated drop. So it just depends really, I would say. But I think most answers lead back to Ethereum, but not all of them. And you might be better placed potentially even in some centralized solutions, depending on the product. If it's licensed like the NBA, like NFL, you're going to want to have a lot of fans being onboarded through US dollar credit card payments, for example, which requires KYC, which requires a huge amount of regulation that goes around it. And therefore, you might want to be partnered with someone that's got the bandwidth to be able to offer that as a service within the thing that you think is the gap in the market. So it all depends, but I think most people end up coming back to Ethereum layer 1 on that basis.
I love this kind of conversation, and your answers are really complete. Like, love it. Thank you.
Cool. Good to talk. Tano from the OGs. We love you, Tano. Also, hail the state.
Yes.
Here he is.
is going to be a great accent as well.
Yeah, we've got some beautiful Europeans in our community.
Hi guys, yeah, sorry, it was my baby daughter pressing buttons.
My 3-year-old daughter came in and asked me to buy some bunnies for her, so I am in the same boat as you. Carry on.
Yeah, so I didn't mean to come up from the stage, but yeah, I love the anime.
Amazing. Good to hear from you anyway. Take it easy, mate.
Yeah.
See ya. See you, Tano. Right, let's get back into the AMA stuff. How long have you got, Crypto Jack? I can go for another 15, 20 minutes. I don't know about you.
Yeah, for as long as it needs to be.
We've got a few things. I might be skipping some, and I'm sorry if I do skip them. Please, if I miss a question, hound me and then put it back in AMA questions for Wednesday, 5 p.m. UK time, because we'll do the same time slot again on Wednesday for a second AMA. So you're not going to lose the opportunity. We just might have to roll over into Wednesday. What have we got? NFT Spooked. What size is the perfect peen and why? Well, Spooked, tell us what you're doing with it. What do you perfect for what? I would ask, but they're all unique and they all serve a purpose, and we're not here to marginalize anyone's weirdness in the weirdoverse. It's all to be diversity is to be celebrated in this space. Go on. This will be good.
Discussing the trait names of the peens for the genitive.
More Walther.
Matt the other day, yeah, and I think you're right that all peens are beautiful and unique, but obviously we're not going to have total uniqueness in peen. But I think there might be an acorn peen featuring in the generative, and I'm hoping that's names its name. So I'd go for an acorn. I think beautiful thing of nature, perfectly formed.
But it sounds like the seeds of new life are spawned from an acorn as well. So in lots of ways, it's very poetic, a name.
It is.
H-Run has asked both of us what our favourite shape of pasta is. I like a rigatoni. I like the idea of bits getting stuck inside it so that you can have like a lot of flavour in one mouthful. That's one of my flexes, just to have that sort of, food going through the centre. So rigatoni is my shout.
Wow, you're way more cultured than me.
Do you like the bow ties, Jack? Are you a pappardelle guy?
My mind went to being a team building exercise and having to make the tallest possible tower out of spaghetti. So I'm going to go for the boring spaghetti as my favourite shape.
Yeah, good building blocks. Olive the Bird says, is there any chocolate rat milk? Maybe one day. Not right now. It's just coming in one flavour right now. I mean, the state is quite uniform in its approach in delivering a consistent standard and quality and purity of rat milk, but you never know. There might be watered down, simplified, children's versions of chocolate milk made by the weirdos in the future. We'll just have to wait and see. Is there any rarity with the sub-factions, asks Bobby Digital, our French legend.
A very good question. There won't be factions won't appear in uniform numbers, so some will be rarer than others. Not finally decided which ones are going to be the most rare. Some of that's coming out through our testing and kind of getting opinions on the aesthetics. I don't know if I've said this on a public AMA before, but the robot android class on the state side, for me, I've just never seen anything like it. I want them all. They're incredible. I hope that you just see something you think that's grail. So I think they may end up being a bit more scarce than some of the other things, but they're the precise rarities is to be decided still.
Cool. There's a few questions around the farm shop and just the process of it. So I'm going to try and wrap them into one and just read them out first. So will we, Uber Purple again says, will we be able to buy in two goes if we have multiple creamless spots? Oh, we've done that. If we have four, buy two first and then the other two. Yes, you can do that. Yeah, we've confirmed that earlier in the AMA. Sorry, that was posted a while back. NFT Spooked also says, can we have no limits on the creamless? Can we have no limits on creamless for the next shop so I can buy as many as possible? Well, firstly, I really appreciate the bullishness. That is awesome. Ampor asks, when will the shop be open again? What will be the maximum for creamless, says Bobby. And I think, we've just sort of been very tentative with making any future statements around the farm shop, because one of the things that we've been doing all along is looking at the big picture of how many collectors we have already in our cream list, how many cream list spots they have, and what a fair distribution of this project looks like. So we don't want to stop people who are super bullish like NFT Spook from acquiring more, but there must be a limit to that to make it fair to people who have zero and want one. So we're constantly playing and throttling with the dials a bit each time it opens. So sometimes it's going to be open and you won't qualify for it, and there's a good reason for that, because we want to reward some of our most loyal and engaged people at the top end. Other times those people will be locked out because we want people on zero to join us and be part of the minting process. So it will depend, and we're going to make sure that we give everybody a window to advance their position on the cream list, whether it's because they're on zero or they've already got one and they want to add more further up. And I think having the price out there now is going to help people really settle in their mind where they want to go with this and try and make it as close to what they want as possible. We've got a question around the rationale for the price being what it is from C's. Jack, I don't know if you want to sort of pull the curtain back a little bit on the thought process around the mint price. And I know there's been a couple of people that have come up and referenced the price being somewhat the top end of what they were comfortable with. And I know there's been other people who've also said that it's within a sensible range, but obviously there's always going to be debate around a mint price. I think oftentimes, it will always be better if it's cheaper for people, but we do have rationale and reason for the mint price being as it is, aside from the fact that 9272 is the mint collection size and a weird number, and we're leaning into the weird law when we match the mint price to the mint size collection. Of course there's that, but more specifically, why is it 0.09 and not 0.04 or 0.06696969 and meme it to death? Just walk us through a little bit of the thinking in the background to that, if you wouldn't mind, Jack.
Yeah, sure. I guess the first thing to say is probably the hardest decision to make on a project is where to set the price, and it depends on so many factors. So we've been trying to grow this community to the size that it is very hard over the last since we started it, but particularly over the last 6 weeks. So obviously we want to bring in as many people who are excited and love this community and the vibes and the art that we're building as possible. And we think we've done a pretty good job of getting that up to the level that it is. And we've been very cutthroat about removing bots, identifying multi-counters, and really that's the kind of demand side of this equation that we've been building for, obviously for us, because we want to make sure that we can set up the project and go on to do the things that we want to do, but for the community as well. Building that demand side means that when we set the price and we go to sale, then obviously if you get to a position where there's lots of collectors hungry to own the collection, then that's going to be good for all of the holders. So really it is this kind of this price discovery, this price research, understanding people's willingness to pay is key. And what we've done there is, as I mentioned before, we've been collecting an incredible amount of data about the, um, you know, about the kind of people who are engaging with the community, who are buying cream lists, the price at which they're buying cream lists. So we've got a very, very good understanding of where the demand is. What we've done on top of just kind of relying on the data, I think I've seen a couple of people in the community on this AMA, maybe they're not here now, but we've been reaching out to individuals and having discussions with them about their willingness to pay. So my background's in product and setting product prices, like a very tricky and difficult thing to do, but we've really tried to use data, both quantitative and qualitative, to understand where the perfect price point is. Also, kind of another thing, just to kind of, as Nick said, to kind of peel back the curtains a bit, we understand that you're never going to set a perfect price for everybody. The whole point of the way that economics works, if people don't think the product is worth that amount, then they're not going to pay for it. But we need to find this equilibrium price in the middle, which is going to kind of, at our supply 9272 is going to mean that we set the price at a point where the project has enough to go on to do what it wants to do with the reserves that it has from the revenue from the sale, but also that collectors feel like they've got a good deal. And from the research that we've done and the data that we've got, we hope we set that price at the right point. Just to kind of obviously the next opening of the farm shop is going to be kind of eye-opening for us, and we're going to kind of see what the whether that ongoing demand is there. But somebody said that they would love us to have the cream list sales at the shop unrestricted. Unfortunately, that's totally impossible for us to do. We have these controls within our ecosystem, within the mechanisms of the farm shop. If we were to set the farm shop maximum per shop opening to be greater than 1, I'm very confident we would sell out all of our remaining creamless spots very, very quickly. So we can't do that, but that is kind of an indication of the demand that is there for this project, and we will see when we open the farm shop over the next 24 or 48 hours where that demand is now that we've announced the price. So I waffled a bit there, but fundamentally, in setting the price, we wanted to make sure that there was a nice balance of collectors benefiting because there's an undersupply versus demand. The project had enough money to go on to do the things that it wants to do, and we've used the data that we've been collecting from a quantitative perspective to make sure that we understood where the price should be, and we've been having conversations with community members to check our thinking, and all of those things coming together have led us to setting the price at 0.09272. And some of the conversations that we had with people potentially could push that price above the 0.1. I think the next weird number over 0.1 is 0.1024 or something, and we were determined that it wasn't going to be at that price. We wanted to make sure that it was below 0.1.
Random GL also, just to reiterate stuff that we've covered at the top of the show, we had, is the mint price for the pre-sale with cream list, will this be cheaper compared to public sale? No, it's the same price for public sale and pre-sale, so price is flat. We're not doing a discount for one and a premium for the other. I think we value everyone equally. I know that in lots of ways makes sense to me, but you might take that the wrong way. What I'm trying to say there is that people who find us and are passionate about the Weirdos and are locked out of the cream list because they didn't find us as early as you did, I think it's fair for them to receive the same price. And so that's where we've gone with the decision to keep it flat across the piece. What will gas fees be like, says Aginator? Very, very low. As Jack has already said, the modified ERC 721A contract already is producing very low outcomes, and we're very confident that that's going to be a super low gas, and we're talking sort of in the prediction ranges of just $5, $10, that sort of level. I mean, things could change, I'm sure, but we are confident on the level of gas more generally, if not the exact number and the dollar number it will exactly land on. We feel very good about the implementation of gas in the contract. Can you confirm, Mogi D says, can you confirm whether there will be a verified rarity checker on release and what platform it will be? Thank you. We're having conversations around multiple rarity checkers, but we're not confirming one over the other or multiples at this point. But yes, we will be using rarities, Rarity Tools sites, not a specific one that we can name today. Tatiana T is in the audience and wants to say hi. Maybe it's just a hi, or maybe it's a full conversation. Let's find out. If you want to accept your invitation and unmute yourself, the floor is yours.
Just wanted to say hello.
Hello, good to hear from you. I don't think we've spoken before, so welcome to the Weirdoverse, and hope you're enjoying your stay. Cool. Where are we at? Speaking about brands, says state of the art. What will the difference be between OG and clone collections? Will OGs have a benefit over cloned versions, and will the clones be CC0? So will OGs have a benefit over cloned versions long term? Well, we've always said, we're not going to confirm exact utility here, but our one-of-one hand-drawn Genesis pieces are always going to have a more prominent role in the building out of the stories and the lore and the detail in the Weirdoverse over the clones. So the clones are very, very valuable to us in terms of having their place in the context of the story we're building, but the original 412 will have a more richer narrative, that's for sure. And how that plays out in terms of utility and benefits, you're just going to have to trust us and wait and see.
I guess it's an obvious point, but that some of the the narrative for the Genesis has been deliberately constructed by Ghost Breath. The amazing thing about the cloning collection is that we're feeding in all of these component parts and these rules, and this incredibly rich collection is going to emerge, which will have be constituted from those component parts, will be something that we never kind of deliberately constructed the individual characters. So it really is at that point kind of the character is handed over to its owner for them to kind of build out and take that to the next level. In terms of the kind of Creative Commons Zero question, I'm going to be sharing a kind of the details of the license that we've been working on with the lawyers. There's a channel in the server that, if you've asked this question, called intellectual property, that we've recently cleared down because it was getting spammed with people checking their rank. If you go in there, there's kind of quite a rich conversation around what the most appropriate structure is for the clone collection. The TLDR is that it's not going to be a CC Creative Commons Zero license, and there's good reason for that. We want to make sure that the owners of that collection are also, of the cloning collection, are also protected to be able to use that intellectual property in a way that makes most sense for them. But we'll be sharing something very shortly around the licensing of the proposal for the clones and actually the Genesis as well.
Cool. Austin says, I have a suggestion feedback for rat milk utility. Well, I haven't scrolled all the way down, but if you want to tell us what that suggestion is, Austin, come and chat to us in the support channel maybe and drop your suggestion there. That'll be a good way of taking that conversation forwards. We're always open to suggestions. It doesn't mean that we can necessarily reveal our plans in the conversation that we have with you when you offer that utility suggestion. And it may be that we're already thinking along similar lines. It's a shame that we can't give you complete clarity and a reassurance that we are on those same lines. But, at the same time, we are conscious of giving you moments of excitement and delight in the future. And we are, playing our cards close to our chest for good reason as well. But we are keen to hear your thoughts around utility, what you want to see developed in the Weirdoverse too, because ultimately these projects are more successful when they're in collaboration with passionate community members who strongly believe in the story, what can be built, and what the best direction for the project is as well. So we are listening to you, and we do want to deliver things that collectors want to experience ultimately. So please keep them coming. What have we got here? Kizo says, any point in looking at the number of Twitter followers? Are we going for organic growth? Have we got any plans for Twitter? Well, I think the simple answer to that is yes. We have gone for organic growth generally in our approach for the project. Totally. We've been around for months. We have built relatively slowly. When the generative plans came through and we started announcing the cloning event, we saw a huge uptick in our approach. That was partly driven by having conversations with other NFT projects and partnerships, which, okay, you might argue whether they're organic or not, but they are native Web3 projects who share alignment with what we're trying to deliver. So we're not necessarily paying and shilling. There are a couple of influencer pieces that we've got lined up. We've got in the events listing that we've got our live Twitch stream on Saturday evening with Tropo Farmer. Most people in the space know who Tropo is. He is a prominent ape holder and an elite ape as well from the Pixel Vault bracket that I described earlier. He has 140,000 followers on Twitter. And yes, he'll be giving away a few free mints as part of the Twitch stream that we're doing on Saturday evening. So there are elements of paid approach, but they're very light touch, very few. We've definitely not relied on it as our core strategy to grow the community. We are talking to people who are already converted by us in different ways rather than paying for eyeballs. So yeah, okay, there are projects out there with a couple of 100,000 followers on Twitter, but at the same time, we've seen projects like that completely fail, and we've seen projects with much smaller online presences do very, very well. And ultimately, the quality of the project will speak for itself, not necessarily the number of accounts that are following the official account. So yes, we are developing plans going into the next 2 weeks of activity before pre-sale. So we're not going to be silent on that front, but at the same time, we certainly won't be buying account names. Mainline.eth. Do you say eth or eth? I say eth. Mainline, the floor is yours. Hi, how are you doing? You're on mute, buddy. You just need to unmute.
There we go.
There we are. How are you?
How are you guys?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. You're our final guest on the stage today, so it's an honor.
All right. First time speaking on one of these, well, in here at least. So I really enjoy the historical NFTs. I got wind of your guys' project, spent some time in the community in the Discord, and really liked the vibe that I was getting. So I figured, why not give it a chance? So my question for you guys is, there's umpteen projects being released today. What sets you guys apart? And what kind of, not so much shill, advice can I give I'm a hardcore devoted Crypto Skulls holder. Can I give my fellow skull holders a pitch to come over and follow you guys, join this project?
I thought that was a crypto skull. That's nice to see one. It's nice to see one. Right, so sales pitch. Crypto Jack, do you want to shill our project to the skulls?
Actually, no pressure, no pressure.
None at all.
I think, I think what hopefully comes across and came across when you joined our community, that we've been trying to do pretty much everything differently from the start. Like from trying to build a community that wasn't kind of built on a grind mechanic to really build something that we kind of talk about, trying to build the most fun place in Web3. So everything from that community side, to having demonstrated over the last 3 months that we are, doing things in ways that have never been done before. A one-on-one collection on its own custom smart contract optimized as gas. And now, if you look at the art, you can tell that it's different. It doesn't feel like those kind of glossy PFP collections. It's kind of embracing humans in with all of their foibles and differences and weirdnesses, and bringing that out into the world in the cloning event in a way that really elevates the kind of generative PFP collections in terms of the variety and impact of the art. We hope that we are, set out to set new standards and kind of prove that we're not just a past the project, we're innovating across every single level, and that we're going to continue to do that. So that's a very long-winded pitch, but I guess the simplified model is we really are trying to do everything we can to push the boundaries of PFP collections in the NFT space across a very wide range of kind of those key fundamental areas, and we think the community has identified that that's something that we're executing on quite well.
We feel that the art style is quite unique in Web3. I think it it takes its inspiration from lots of real world animation art, but not necessarily stuff that's already been curated in Web3. So that plus the color palettes and the scheme and the storyline, I think, are things which really stand out from the stuff that's already out there. I think we are creating, to Jack's point, a much more diverse PFP collection than people are typically used to. So again, I'm certainly not referencing skulls when I say this, because certainly from a historical perspective, things were very different when skulls were in the space, and before we sort of got through to the boom of late 20 and early 21, we were certainly very limited in what was on offer. But as we start to explore the diversity of what people want to put into collections, I think we're hopefully going to be remembered for taking it on another step in terms of having a distinct theme and thread through the entire generative and the cloning event, but having so much diversity that people can really stand out from one another but still be identified by the headline collection, which is the Weirdos. And that's what I hope is one of our many legacies. Ideally, people actually using it as their primary PFP would be our real goal here, where we feel that we're on the cusp of changing people's PFPs in Web3, which is when you start to see that real cultural shift around a project. A lot of the questions that we have here start to fade into insignificance if this is people's PFP of choice. And that's absolutely our stated aim. Let's lead with that, sit on that, and let's ideally dwell on that thought for a little while, because if we achieve that, we're off to the races and then some with this project.
Well, I dig it. The art is really cool, embracing one's differences. And whoever thought of milking a rat for a cream list, brilliant idea. I appreciate you guys.
You're welcome. There's a couple of DJ minds in this team that can conjure up some weird and wonderful things if you really set their minds to it. Look, we're just coming up to 7 p.m. in the UK, which means it's time for us to wrap up. We've been going for 2 hours. There are loads more questions in the AMA questions channel, which we haven't got round to. I'm really sorry that we haven't had a chance to answer every single question from yours today. I would recommend that you either post them again on Wednesday, nice and early before we take to the stage at 5 p.m. UK on Wednesday, and we will come back around and try and answer as many of them as we can again on Wednesday. Hopefully we'll have some more information for you about the project by then as well. But for now, it's goodbye from me, Cheadle State, and Crypto Jack from the slightly less sunnier climes of Scotland, from Edinburgh, and we will see you again on Wednesday. Thank you very much, and have a pleasant evening in the Weirdoverse. Bye 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 bye.